Ladies and gentlemen, I got to quit fooling around because I always fool around way too much and goof off. We were looking at Adrian Lewis's preface or foreword, whatever you want to call it, to Old Shirts, New Skins, American Indian Studies. It's written by Sherman Alexie, my old buddy, and he was talking about Paul Harvey and the rest of North America and the way they look at natives in the past and saying that we never contribute anything to American culture. There's no noteworthy art, no noteworthy literature. We're just a bunch of losers who suck off the government. That's pretty much what Paul Harvey says. Adrian Lewis has rebutted this, saying, "Yeah, we got some of that, but look at all these great writers we have, and besides, these are people who are looking at us from the outside, the outside looking in." And I want to introduce this term to you because this is what he's pretty much referring to: cultural illiteracy. What does it mean? It is a lack of knowledge or understanding, whether willful or unwillful. I added that part about willful or unwillful of other cultures, including history, politics, values, and social norms. Why did I do that? I'm sure you can already figure that out. The willful ignorance. Some people have invincible ignorance. They're militantly ignorant. And don't get me started because I'll start getting political on you. We were going to keep it focused on literature, shall we? Yes, we shall. Anyway, this is what Lewis is complaining about. He's saying that, look at this, people are so dang illiterate. They don't even understand other cultures. All they focus on their Big Macs and their Walmarts and whatever it is. Don't get me started because I'm going to stand up here and start getting into a diatribe. But I do, while I'm kind of skirting a diatribe, I want to talk about the other problem, the other side. Why did I put singing eagler? I think I must have either been typing too fast or spell check messed with me. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to take that off of there so by the time you get this video, you won't see the ER on there, singing eagler. Anyway, I'm going to introduce you to the term comparative misfortune. This is something also which shows up in literature over and over again, and I used to get into, I don't want to say heated debates, but let's say spirited debates, because Sherman Alexie was a bud, and also Tiffany Midge is a bud, and friends of mine. And comparative misfortune is what I'm calling this. It's this idea, well, let me read. The act of judging the poor circumstances of others against one's own, usually to one up another's misfortune, or to exclude that person from a perceived group. Here's a quote: "You're not a real Indian if your family has whatever, it has a television. You're not a real Indian if you've never had to wonder where your next meal is coming from. You're not a real Indian if," and it's usually something bad, you see. And oftentimes we get into this. I call it let me scroll down. I call it playing more Indian than thou. That's another way to put it. And usually it's based upon negative stereotypes about Native Americans. You will see this again and again in a lot of Native American literature where especially the poetry, where these folks will say they're focused on issues of Native identity. Who is and who is not a real Indian? Who can we exclude from Indianness because they grew up middle class or they grew up in the city? They never set foot in a sweat lodge. They never had to worry about where their next meal, their stomach never growled. Their parents never had to sleep in a one-room shack, blah, 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 blah. So that is kind of a misfortunate and unfortunate tendency we natives have in our speech with each other and in our literature, where we talk about well, we're going to look down on other Indians and say, well, these guys aren't real Indians because they didn't have it as bad as we did. Okay? So, again, you might see that in literature or playing more. And now I'm going to change the channel to something more positive, you say. I'm going to introduce you to Zitkala-Sa. How are we doing on time? 5 minutes and 55 seconds. I'm going to pull up this wonderful book here, which says American Indian Stories by Zitkala-Sa. Forward by Dexter Fisher. There's a few passages I want to share out of this book for you because, again, this woman is a Dakota. If you don't know who Zitkala-Sa is, just go to our Native American literature course. Gimme. And click on e-learning, and you can see a video. Look at all this stuff, all this hard work I've been doing for you. And click on the video, and you can watch it. It'll say who she is. She is a Yankton Dakota. And again, we'll talk about this now. I'm going to mess with Zitkala-Sa. Who is she? Says in my lesson plan that Zitkala-Sa, let's read it. Pull it up here. Her years are, or her original name, her Washichu name, I don't know what you would say, is Gertrude Simmons Bonin. Her years are 1876 to 1938. She was a writer, a translator, musician, and teacher, and also a Native American rights activist because she co-founded the National Council on American Indians. By the way, there's a certain orange politician who is starting to question the citizenship of various individuals, natives included. Where is he going to deport us to? But never mind, I don't want to get political. She was instrumental in getting our people U.S. citizenship. Isn't that awesome? And she's also an author. So we're going to mess with her literature a little bit. Let's see. She deals also with struggles of cultural identity and pedagogical resistance. Before I start reading from her, let's define what is pedagogical resistance. Let's see. I'm going to go forward. Let's go back to their lesson plan. Stop that. Pedagogical resistance. A teaching approach where educators actively challenge dominant ideologies and power structures within the classroom by encouraging critical thinking, questioning the status quo, and empowering students to engage with social issues, often with the goal of promoting social justice and equality. Ooh, some politicians won't like that. Woo. Now, we're going to focus on, go back. What do we mean by that? Because you got to remember, she's an author, a teacher, a native rights advocate. And when she was in school, one of the things that she was fussing about is why are we teaching our native kids the Washichu way when we should be teaching them the Dakota way or the Lakota way or the Potawatomi way or whatever tribe, the Anishinaabe way. Oftentimes, the classroom is a place of an indoctrination where we teach kids what to think instead of how to think. How am I doing on time? Let's back it up and go have a look. 9 minutes and 41 seconds. We're going to stop it there, and I'm going to start reading from her in the next section. So thank you so much, and talk to you soon.